Rediscovering Gita for the Modern World by Shrikant Soman, based on essays on Gita by Sri Aurobindo. Start of a new chapter 10, Yoga of the Intelligent Will, continued from the previous episode 75, the Purushottama, the Gita's revolutionary step in Vedanta. Current episode 76, the Gita's gradual revelation from philosophy to spiritual mystery. The Yoga of the Intelligent Will, the Gita's first teaching. Conquering fear, the Gita's path to freedom from bondage. Key takeaways. A progressive teaching, the Gita reveals its truths gradually. It starts with philosophical concepts to prepare the mind, hinting at a deeper, ultimate mystery that is left for the reader to experience and live out. Yoga as a path to freedom, the divine teacher presents yoga as a way to free oneself from the bondage of actions. This bondage comes from a focus on the results of work and being motivated by desire, which is a characteristic of ignorant people. The first lesson, the Yoga of the Buddhi. The Gita's initial teaching is the Yoga of the Intelligent Will, Buddhi. This practice involves acting with a clear, unified understanding that is fixed on the One, allowing one to move through the world with serenity instead of being driven by desires. Two types of intelligence. The passage distinguishes between two types of intelligence: a unified intelligence focused on the truth and a scattered intelligence driven by countless desires. The Gita urges people to seek refuge in the unified intelligent will. The Sankhya framework. The text uses the Sankhya philosophical framework, which describes a passive, unchanging Purusha, soul, and an active Prakriti nature. The subjective part of our being, from our intellect down to our senses and material elements, evolves from this interaction. I've had to stray from my usual path in the last two essays, bringing you with me into the dry landscape of philosophical principles. I did this even with a quick and incomplete treatment, so we could understand why the Gita develops in a particular way. It first presents a partial truth with only quiet hints of its deeper meaning. Then it returns to those hints, revealing their significance until it reaches its final great suggestion, its ultimate mystery. The Gita doesn't fully explain this mystery, but leaves it for us to live out, just as later eras of Indian spirituality attempted to do through great movements of love, surrender and spiritual joy. The Gita's focus is always on its overall synthesis, and all its teachings are meant to gradually prepare the mind for its high, concluding note. The divine teacher tells Arjuna that he has already explained the path of a self-liberated mind through Sankhya and will now present another perspective through yoga. He notes that Arjuna is afraid of the consequences of his actions and wants to avoid his duty because it doesn't lead to the results he desires. This focus on the results of work and letting desire be the motivation is what traps ignorant people who don't understand the true nature of work, where it comes from, or its higher purpose. The teacher promises that his yoga will free Arjuna from this bondage. Arjuna, the world's greatest hero, is currently filled with a great fear of sin, suffering, hell, and the unknown, which is a common fear for humanity. The teacher promises that even a small amount of this yoga will free him from this fear. Once on this path, every step is a gain, and no obstacle can stop his progress. This is a bold promise, and the passage notes that its full truth is only revealed at the very end of the Gita's message. Abandon all laws of conduct and take refuge in me alone. I will deliver you from all sin and evil. Do not grieve. However, the exposition begins not with a deep emotional promise, but with a practical lesson for the intellect. It's the guide and teacher, not the friend, who speaks first to remove Arjuna's ignorance about himself, the world and his actions. Humans are bound by their actions because they act with a mistaken understanding of these things. This wrong understanding is the source of our hope, fear, anger, grief, and fleeting joy. To be free, one must act with perfect serenity. Therefore, the first teaching is the yoga of the buddhi, or the intelligent will. This is the practice of acting with the right will and understanding, which is fixed on the One, aware of the single self in all beings, and acts from a place of equality and calm, instead of being scattered by the many impulses of our outer self. The Gita describes two types of intelligence. The first is focused and unified, aiming only for the truth. The second is scattered and without a single purpose, chasing countless desires offered by life. Buddhi is more than just understanding. It's the power to discriminate and decide. The unified intelligent will is steady and rooted in inner self-knowledge, while the scattered intelligence is restless, focused on outer life, works, and their results. The teacher states that works are far inferior to yoga of the intelligence, and urges Arjuna to seek refuge in this intelligence, calling those who work only for results poor and wretched. The passage then reminds us of the Sankhya philosophical framework that the Gita uses. On one side is the Purusha, the soul, which is calm, inactive, and unchanging. On the other is Prakriti, nature force, which is active and evolves only when it comes into contact with the consciousness of the soul. Our experience of being is created by the interaction of these two. First, the subjective part of our being evolves from Prakriti, with the soul's consciousness as the primary cause. The instruments of this subjectivity also come from nature. The evolution happens in a specific order. Buddhi, the power to discriminate and decide. Ahankara, the ego, which creates our sense of self. Manas, the sense mind that perceives objects. 10 senses, 5 for perception, hearing, touch, sight, taste, smell, and 5 for action. 5 properties of sense, the qualities of objects, like sound, form, and scent. 5 elements, Panchabhuta, the fundamental conditions of objects in the physical world.